Julius is stunned to see that the king is alive and seemingly back to full health. The king reveals that he took Philia's improved medicine, which has cured him permanently. Without wasting any time, he exposes Pris as the one responsible for preparing the poison and reveals that Mia's parents were also involved. Without hesitation, he has them arrested immediately and orders the dismissal of the nobles and officials who were negligent in their duties during his absence. Finally, he commands that Julius be thrown into prison. Seeing this, Mia feels a sense of relief. Her long-planned revenge has finally been completed. With Julius dealt with, the focus shifts to handling the growing number of monsters. Yet another consequence of his reckless decisions. Later, Rykart receives news that Parnacorda's knights have been granted entry into Gurtonia. However, for some reason, he warns Philia to be prepared for something unknown. Before he can elaborate, Grace arrives with a magic crystal linked to her sisters. Thanking Grace, Philia immediately begins expanding the magic circle across the continent. As the effects of the spell take hold, everyone rejoices until Philia reveals a troubling limitation. She was only able to extend the magic across the western side of the continent. The eastern side remains unprotected, likely due to the overwhelming number of monsters in Gurtonia interfering with the spell's power. Stricken with guilt over her failure, Philia suggests that Grace should take her place as the core of the magic to ensure Mia's safety. However, Rykart refuses outright. He argues that the risk is too great, even going so far as to consider recalling his knights from Gurtonia. More importantly, he insists that Philia as Parnacorda's Saint cannot recklessly abandon her duty to rush off to another kingdom. Urza supports his stance, pointing out that Gurtonia is dangerously close to where Asmodeus is sealed. Just then, Oswald stands up for Philia, firmly stating that she can do as she wishes. Philia once again voices her determination, and Oswald steps forward, deciding to accompany her. Rykart hesitates, stating that he does not want to lose another member of his family, but both Philia and Oswald reassure him they will return alive. As they set off, Mia and her allies continue their endless battle against the monsters, aided by the overwhelming strength of Parnacorda's knights. However, just when Mia begins to feel a flicker of hope, the monsters outside breach their defensive barrier, sending waves of panic through their ranks. Mia watches the chaos unfold and wonders if this is the right time for her to escape to Parnacorda, to Philia's side, where she would no longer have to fight and could simply live peacefully with her sister. But guilt washes over her. She was part of the reason Philia suffered unjust treatment, and she feels she doesn't deserve that peace. Overcome by shame, she presses on, fighting even harder. When her magic finally runs dry, she makes a desperate decision. With nothing left, she turns to a forbidden spell burning away her life force to annihilate the monsters. Resolving to die alongside them, she casts the spell. Mia collapses as the remaining monsters close in on her. Just then, Philia arrives. At the last second, she defeats every monster in an instant. With the battlefield cleared, the magic circle finally expands to its full size. The knights seize the opportunity to push back the weakened monsters, turning the tide of the battle. Exhausted but resolute, Philia channels the last of her magic into healing Mia. Oswald notices her unease and gently places a hand on her shoulder. The silent gesture calms her, and with steady hands, she successfully revives Mia. Finally, the sisters have a heartfelt reunion. Mia confesses everything, how she carefully planned her revenge against their parents and Julius. That night, something sinister stirs. Julius somehow manages to escape prison. Descending into the underground chamber, he steals Fianna's ring-seeking power, seeking revenge. But the moment he puts it on, the ring's demonic influence takes hold. Later, as everyone heads to the castle, Mia teases Oswald and Philia, calling them a couple and openly declaring that she prefers Oswald over Julius. But the lighthearted banter is short-lived. As they enter the courtroom, they freeze in shock. Julius sits upon the king's throne,